Man ici avec Éclairage Extérieur Montréal, live du congrès AOLP. AOLP, c'est l'association d'éclairage extérieur de professionnels. So AOLP, Association of Lighting Outdoor Professionals. And we're just here checking out some workshops. Let's see what's going on here.
So in this little section, we just have all types of different controllers that you can utilize to control your system. One of the things that you want to really remember about control is when you're talking with your customers is ask them what their level of technology is. Okay, if you've got a regular, if you've got some folks that are just not interested in Wi-Fi or astronomical timing or digital timing, or if it's going to be something that you're just going to take care of, then you can do whatever you want, really. But if you're doing any type of control, always ask the level of tech that they're familiar with. I've dealt with some people in their 80s, and they love to do everything on their cell phone. So some people are really good with it. Some people, they just want that photo cell. They just want that timer. So just make sure you talk to them about their level of technology before you do anything. Now, a lot of different things that you can use. Obviously, you've got 120 volt systems like this torque system here. This is a really good system because you can actually control the outlet. You can control several outlets. This is going to be something that you're going to want to have your electrician put in for you because it is hardwired. Okay, unless you're licensed to do so, obviously. Also, you have your small torque timer that you can put into the wall. So if you have an in-wall switch that controls an outdoor outlet, you can utilize something like this as well to do your astronomical timing. And then it's very easy too for manual because you just press the button. Super simple. When you want to get into Wi-Fi options, there's many different things to choose from. What I want you to remember is pretty much 95% of all Wi-Fi products only utilize the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Now the reason for that is, people will say, oh, I got 5 gigahertz, it's great. Well, it's good for speed, for, doing your videos and, like my son playing his games and all that type of stuff. It's really good for that, but for distance, you need the 2.4. That's why most of your appliance pieces are at a 2.4 gigahertz. Now, many different products out there. Obviously, there's so many different types of smart plugs out there. Many different styles. They all work pretty much the same. Okay. Most of your smart products these days will work either through the manufacturer's smart app or through the generic smart app, which is called Smart Life or Tuya Smart. Okay, Tuya is the company that pretty much makes every type of smart app that's out there. Now, many different manufacturers require you to use their app. Okay, so like sometimes you can set things up on the Smart Life or Tuya Smart, and sometimes you can't. Okay, so just be aware of that. There's several of them that I've actually tried out there that you are required to use their app. So it's always best if you are working with that particular manufacturer, use their app because it was really made for their device. Okay, so that would be one thing that I would recommend. So as you can see, many different types of smart products. This is actually one of the first smart sockets that was out there. It was this Gemini. This was one of the first ones that was out there. And then, a lot of other ones, like this one is an outdoor. This is from Wise. This is an outdoor version. Okay, you can plug this into the wall and then plug your transformer or your bistro string, something like that. You can plug that right in here as well. Okay. Very, very similar. This is just a smaller smart socket. This can go inside your transformer, or you can plug this into your bubble cover. Okay. Now, when you work with something like this, just remember, if you are putting this in your transformer, sometimes when you close the transformer, the Wi-Fi signal is going to be interrupted. Okay. Now, two manufacturers now have smart sockets that do have antennas on them. Kichler has one, and Brilliance will have one as well. Okay. Now, for after the transformer control, there's several other products. So, for instance, Illumicare has this Merlin. Okay, this will operate one station, so you can actually put this and use this as a separate zone, and you can run this through your Wi-Fi through the Illumicare app. Okay, so this will work one particular zone. You don't want to load it up more than probably about 200 watts right there. But this is a good unit if you just want to do one zone. Now, this can go anywhere in line as well. You know, so this one has the big heavy. I believe this is like a 12 gauge cable. Okay, so this will go in and out, and then it'll just switch in between. Okay, then. Brilliance has the sector selector, the new sector selector. This will actually do 4 zones for you. You can put this right next to your transformer, and it will operate 4 separate zones. Now, both of these do have manual buttons. So if you do go out there and you're finding out that you have a circuit breaker thrown, that type of thing, you can either go to the Merlin and press the button on the side, and you can turn on the system manually. Or with sector selector, you have 4 buttons on the inside that you can put in there. Sector selector, you can do up to 200 watts per zone. So there's a lot of capacity in there that you can do. Both have a huge antenna on there, so they'll get a good range, probably about 200 feet at least, you know, in direct line of sight. If you're going around brick walls and things like that, you just got to be careful, you know. What you want to remember, though, is on all these apps, when you open up a device, for instance, if you look at your device, you open it up to do your on and off manually. Inside that device, you're going to find an area where you can actually see the signal strength that's being received by the device itself. Now, if you go out there with Wi-Fi and you look at your phone and you say, oh wow, I got great Wi-Fi here, that doesn't mean anything, okay? Your phone has a bigger antenna than what any of these smart products have, okay? Whether it be like a color changing lamp or one of these devices here, smart socket, something like that. You have to be able to go into the app itself and find out what the signal strength is being received. Now, signal strength is going to be measured in negative dBm marks. The lower the negative number, the stronger the signal is. Okay, so you're always going to want to look for a negative dBm like 30 to about 75. 75 is going to be pretty much the threshold on any type of smart device that's out there. So just kind of remember that as you're doing it. Then beyond that, you can actually do 12-volt dimming. Okay, so there's several manufacturers that make a 12-volt dimmer that you can put after the transformer. Okay, this is one from Brilliance, but Illumicare and several other manufacturers make this same deal. Okay, this will dim pretty much anything that's dimmable on your low voltage side. Now, when you do dimming with low voltage, remember that every type of LED will dim differently. So if you have strip light, you're going to want to separate that on its own dimmer. If you're doing pathway lights, which I don't know why you'd want to dim pathway lights, but if you're going to be dimming something like that, you're going to want to have that on its own dimmer. Okay. If you're doing some lights out of the like a pergola or an outdoor room, you know, always schedule a higher wattage lamp so that way you can tune it in the way you want it. Okay, and then if you have to do a cleanup, you can ramp it up. Now, most of these dimmers are only going to handle they're rated at about 120 watts. I would tell you only load them to about 100 watts just to be safe. The faceplate on all of these is the heat sink. Okay, they will get warm. So just be aware of that. Now, they should not be blazing. If they're blazing hot, you did something wrong. Okay, you overloaded them. So always make sure you look at the volt amps when you're doing when you're working with any of your manufacturers. Find out what their volt amps are when you're sizing your transformer. Okay, that will always help you when you're doing any of this secondary switching.
Kevin, have you talked about the Lutron at all a little bit right there?
No, I haven't, but you want to...
Scott's put in quite a few of
Yeah,
those.
please.
So this seems to be the Lutron that everybody's talking about.
So, can I just show of hands who's used Lutron before in any capacity? So, basically, there's Caseta is their lowest end. Very simple to use, and you can. A lot of manufacturers or that you saw here are selling it on their websites, which I noticed. Caseta is as simple as having a brain, plug it into their router, outdoor plug, and now you've got full capability through the Lutron app, which is great. Then it steps up to raw select, which I have in my house. I love it. Controls my shades, my lights, my outdoor lights. Then raw 3 now, and homeworks, which is on a whole other level. Not really needed for outdoor lighting, but my suggestion is to get certified. Just go to the trainings. I know some of these manufacturers that you saw yesterday are offering those trainings, so just touch base with them, see if they can get you involved. But it's great to know. It's a great product for reliability that I found. Probably the number one.
One of the great things about the Caseta is you can put other modules throughout the home to extend the range, right? So if the Wi-Fi or the router is in the worst place in the house, you can put modules, just plug in modules, right? So it's not anything big deal, but you can also tie it to switches, house switches. So if their outlets are tied to a switch in the house, you can also use that.
Yeah, so what's great about it is now you're not only controlling their landscape lights, but you can program their outdoor coach lights or their sconces, their under deck lights, whatever, all together and create the scene. You set the levels and the dimming level for those. I usually do around a 50%, and then the landscape lighting, and call it the welcome home scene, so that they pull up and they see that. I've gone crazy with those lamp modules and had those where you have your old style bedside lamps in windows set at a level that's part of that welcome home scene. So you can take yourself to the next level and sell that programming to these people as well.
The reason why I wanted to bring that up is they also have even a less expensive, to piggyback on what Kevin was saying on the dimmers. You can buy one of their dimmers for like 65 bucks if they have a switch inside the house. Obviously this is pretty substantial. Okay, you got to find a place for this. If they're already running their lights via inside by a switch, all you're doing is taking that switch there and putting that Lutron inexpensive dimmer in there.
That's dimming the 120 volt side, right?
That's on the 120 volt side, correct.
The other thing is when you're changing out this switch, so say you have this one in, right? They have a problem with figuring out how to like it gets reset. They don't know how to reprogram it. They have no idea. You try to talk them through it, they can't do it. I don't know why. But with Lutron, you can own their system. You can have it and remotely go, oh, it's not working. What time do you want it on? And change it, and then it'll be changed for them as well. And it's really intuitive and easy to use, so the clients, they love it, they play with it too.
Then you can send them a bill right away, right?
Yeah,
Send them a bill.
Send them a bill for that 10 seconds. Send them an hour of service charge.
Everything's going that direction. That's why I wanted to really make sure we harped a little bit on that. I've personally have used the sector selector, and it works fabulous for zoning and all those things. You got to just study up on it, Just when you're bored and you're surfing the web or whatever, just look at stuff. Read it. It's out there. You just got to know where to look.